Okay, I think we are live on
Great.
Facebook. I will double make sure. Yes, so we're live. So welcome everybody to today's Employer Spotlight with Prudential. We are super excited to have April Beesing with us, who is a recruiter and talent acquisition for Prudential. My name is Andrew Hart, and I work in the employer development team here at UT Center for Career Development and Academic Exploration. And April, we are thrilled to have you today joining us to talk to us all about Prudential and how students can learn about opportunities with you all. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us today.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew, and thank you for everyone that's dialed in. I'm very excited to be here this afternoon, and I can open up with a little bit about me.
Yeah, that'd be great. I know you went to UT, so why don't you
Yes.
talk a little bit about that experience real quick?
Yeah, so there was never a doubt that I was, not going to be a volunteer. It always was the number one priority for me was going to the University of Tennessee, having been born and bred in Cleveland, Tennessee, just outside of Chattanooga. I knew that I had found a home too when I visited the University of Tennessee's campus. And so during my time there, I actually studied ecology and evolutionary biology, and
Oh,
I
wow.
graduated December 2010. So I can't believe nearly a decade has
Sure.
passed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would say that I continue to take the Vols with me everywhere I go. If you can't see it in my attire, you can definitely see it in, kind of how I, want to continue to perpetuate, Vols recruiting, which is why I'm here today. But even if I think about my time, after university and moving to New York, I've been very active in the New York City, local alumni chapter for Vols. That's how you and
Yeah,
I met, Andrew.
absolutely.
Yes, I'm very happy to be here today and couldn't be
Good.
more excited to be featured with Prudential
Awesome.
Financial.
Absolutely. Well, if anybody's watching live and you have a question for April, please feel free to drop it down in the comment section and we'll try and get that answered for you. So we'll just start off, April. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about, Prudential? Like, what do you all do and where are your primary locations at throughout the country?
Yeah, absolutely. So quick overview, Prudential is, it was ranked number 50 on the Fortune 500 list for 2019. And we have around 50,000 employees globally, I'd say. We are a proud Newark, New Jersey based headquartered company. And in fact, we were founded in Newark in 1875. So that's nearly 150 years old. And we have 1.5 trillion in assets under management and around 50 million customers across 40 different countries. So we truly are a global company, but I would say definitely the heart and the soul of the company is in Newark, New Jersey. Though we are the second largest life insurer in the US, we also have an asset management arm called PGIM, and that is the 10th largest asset manager worldwide. Some principal products and services include life insurance, annuities, mutual funds, pension and retirement related investments, asset management and securities brokerage services. Kind of to your point, where do we hire? We mainly hire in our New Jersey offices, with Newark being the largest.
Sure.
What I do want to say about Newark is it's about 25 minutes outside of Lower Manhattan on public transportation. Like I myself have, until most recently, have been living in Brooklyn, where door to door, it's about an hour on public transportation, but it does allow me the flexibility to still live that Brooklyn lifestyle and the New York City lifestyle that I want, while still being able to have an established career in Newark. So I do just want to demystify that. It's very close in proximity. If I think about it in comparison to my friends, even working in Tennessee, you could be stuck in an hour's worth of traffic. Here, you don't have to drive. You can use public transportation and, still be able to have a, very valuable career, even though it could be in a different state from what you're living in.
That is a great point. So I appreciate you letting us know that, because I know we have a lot of students who are interested in New York, post graduation. So this gives them the opportunity to still come to you all and still get that New York lifestyle. So that's definitely good to know. So talk to us a little bit about the types of jobs and internship opportunities that you have currently open.
Yeah, absolutely. So really across the board, we hire for a variety of functions. I think when you think of financial services and insurance, it sounds narrow at face value, but it really isn't. I would say a lot of our hiring is in technology. So whether it's coding, software development, project management, infrastructure, you name it, there's a wealth of opportunities available in the tech sector if that's something of interest to you. I would say hiring area of ours is for our asset manager PGIM. So if you're interested in something that's very market facing, we definitely have a home for you here. So we hire within our fixed income groups, real estate, operations, and also our portfolio management team. So we have a breadth of opportunities if you are looking for something that's more markets oriented. Also, what comes to mind too are what we call our corporate functions. So really that just means, finance, right? So we have to have people that are managing our P&L. We have our risk team, right?
Sure.
So people really understanding how we're underwriting risk and operational risk. We have our actuaries as well, which is very niche. But again, if you're looking for something that's very quantitative, and you do have a risk management focus as well, that could be a good area. And we have internal audit. And we also have a whole plethora of opportunities in our insurance business as well, whether it's like a sales advisor or even sales operations. Really, the list goes on. I'm just, touching the tip of the iceberg. But all that to say that you don't have to have, a XYZ degree to find a home here. We really look at all degrees across the board. I think it goes with showing that I'm a biology major, but I'm still working in financial services.
Absolutely. No, that is very good. Good to know, especially, for those arts and sciences students who may not even think about this type of career. So that's definitely good information. So if anybody's interested in these types of positions, how would you suggest one would go about applying?
Yeah, so we do have our career site. So really that's just going to be jobs.prudential.com//students. Or you can always just Google Prudential careers and it will take you there as well. But a couple of things to note. It's a pretty straightforward application process. So I would say, once you get online and kind of discover what you're most interested in, and we can touch in a little bit more about how to navigate the applications, especially in a COVID year.
Right.
But once you figure out which roles are best suited for you, you can apply to up to three different opportunities. And upon application, hear from us within around I would say 2 weeks about next steps. And that next step would be a digital interview. So given that we're in this very tech forward age, some of it precipitated by COVID, but also just as we integrate technology into everything we do leverage HireVue as our premier technology tool for first round interviews. So you can expect around, I would say, probably 10 questions in the HireVue interview. Situational, behavioral, business focused questions. And after completion of the digital interviews, really the final stage with us would be final round interviews where you would interact with our hiring managers more directly. So very straightforward process. But I do wanted to note that our applications do close November 1st, but that's still 6 weeks away.
Absolutely.
So, students should apply when they're ready, right? So do your homework, figure out what makes sense for you, but be aware that the November 1 deadline is only 6 weeks away. So we would love to have more involved in the application pool, which is why, I'm here today.
Perfect. Great. So that's really good information to know. So when students are applying, do you have any tips of anything that you could share with them of something that makes a good candidate stand out on their resume? Are there any experiences that would make a candidate a good fit with Prudential that you are really impressed with?
Yeah, so I would say, first and foremost, you need to, when you're reviewing a company, you should really understand kind of the mission and the culture and the value of the company, right? So I think it's incredibly important for you to align with your company's overarching position. I do feel like in this day and age, there is that intersection point where you really want to work for a company that has the same morals as you. And that's, why I came to Prudential. And if you actually look at our mission statement is, we want to make lives better by solving the financial challenges of our changing world. So if you can find value in that, I definitely think that is a good start to really discovering, what Prudential can offer you and vice versa. But in terms of other qualities and skill sets, I think it's going to be, curiosity.
Yeah.
What are you doing in order to try different things? I think what's so unique about where we are is this summer was very different for most. So what did you do in this time, right? For example, maybe you were meant to have an internship but then no longer could, or you meant to do X or Y in terms of employment, but because of the unique market we were in this summer, your time's just being spent differently. So what did you do to further your learning? What did you do to stretch yourself? I think those are going to be things that recruiters are looking at, is how did
Okay.
you spend 2020? I
Yeah.
think that's going to be one of the number one questions. And we want to see what you did to really stretch yourself. Other things I would say that stand out too are like extracurriculars, right? So what are things that you're doing that's maybe outside of your curriculum, whether it's volunteerism, whether it's sports, whether it's something else outside of just academia that shows that you're well-rounded.
Yeah.
I think those are going to be qualities that really every employer looks at, but especially Prudential.
Okay. Good to know. Great. So you talked a little bit about cultures. So what is it that you really like about working at Prudential? And can you kind of give us a little bit of insight of what the company culture is like?
Yeah, so I think Prudential's commitment to its people is something that I just think is sensational, and it is a differentiator when I think about other firms that I've worked with. Just to give you, a couple of, I guess, stats and insights about Pru. You know, when COVID first hit and we were really kind of understanding, kind of what's going on in the world, Prudential provided over $1.5 million to support local community response funds in Newark, Hartford, and El Paso. And those funds supported financially vulnerable residents, medical and healthcare equipment, also non-for-profit organizations in the area, as well as the small businesses that were negatively impacted by COVID. During the spring timeframe as well, the firm donated 150,095 masks and respirators to hospitals in the New Jersey area.
Wow.
And I know that you and I were speaking about this briefly before we went live as well, but I think that, as the spring was unfolding, we never had to waver on our commitments to our internship class.
Sure.
So our commitment to our people was remaining a priority, even the students that hadn't joined us for a summer yet. So we were able to flip our traditional internship program that would have been in person this summer to a fully virtual experience. And on top of that too, I would say our managers actually really understood the value our interns were bringing, despite not seeing that face-to-face interaction. And we are still able to provide a meaningful experience. And there's going to be a myriad of students rejoining us next summer, whether that's at a full-time capacity or a returning summer internship program, just because they had a great experience with us. But we also had really good managers that were committed to making sure that their students and interns were still learning.
Awesome. That's great. Appreciate you sharing some insight on that. So, we have talked a lot about COVID, and it's a lot of, unknowns right now, especially for students who are searching for their first
Mhm.
full-time position or an internship. And so if you could give our UT students any advice for job searching or internship searching during a pandemic, what would you say? What would you tell them right now?
Yeah, there's a couple of things, right? So I think that you have to be proactive, right? Employers unfortunately can't come on campus, right? Or if they do, it's in a very limited capacity. And so you really have to be proactive and really understand like what do you value, and from a career trajectory angle, where do you want to be, and do your homework and be proactive. Get on LinkedIn, do searches and see who the recruiters are at these organizations. Attend more events with your career services.
Yeah.
I can't say enough about that. I didn't take advantage of it like I should have, but I was at UT, and that's one of my major regrets. Link up with your career advisor. Go to the companies that you're interested in. All of them are hosting virtual events, very likely. So
Yeah.
see when the next events are. Be active on LinkedIn. So I would say being proactive, I think, will go very far. To balance that out, though, I would say
Mhm.
you need to be intentional, right? Like you have academic obligations, you have other obligations during the school year where you can't just blast, every employer that you're interested in. Too, you have to be thoughtful and strategic and intentional, right? So I do think that you have to do the research, do your homework, have conviction too. Not only because then you're being smart with your time, but when you do apply or you are meeting with recruiters or hiring managers, you can show that you were very thoughtful about how you did your research. You can understand, or you can portray why you're interested in the company, how the cultural values align, from the firm, and how you really find value in that. So I
Yeah.
would say being proactive and intentional are probably the top two things I would recommend for this season.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully our students will listen to those tips and be proactive about that for sure. So last question, and this should be a very easy question for you, since you are a little partial to us here at UT. So why is it great to hire a UT ball?
Well, I will kind of ask a rhetorical question in response to that too, right? I mean, why does Rick Barnes like recruiting basketball greats? Why does Jeremy Pruitt, want to continue building a competitive recruiting class? And, why did Phil Fulmer return to UT, right?
Right,
I think
right.
it's all the same reason. It's because we know that our programs are training and preparing our students to be the best that they can be, right? And there's a myriad of people that go into that support system. And we know that the students that want to go to UT, whether it's for sports programs or for our curriculums, have great values. They come with leadership, they come with commitment, tenacity, drive, charisma, the list goes
Yeah,
on. So I think that's why I love hiring UT Vols, and I would
sure.
venture to say it's the same for many.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That gives me goosebumps. So yeah, that's all good stuff right there. So
Mhm.
April, we could not thank you enough for joining us today for our employer spotlight. And I will make sure to put your email address in the comment section. So if anybody has any direct questions for April, please feel free to reach out to her. She talked about how you can look at the jobs and internship opportunities that are available. And again, can you remind us when the application deadline is?
Yep, so applications are open now and it wraps up November 1st. And that's for
Perfect.
our 2021 full-time and internship roles.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining us. And again, if anybody has any questions for April, please reach out to her. And again, thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with us. And hopefully, we wish you much success in your recruiting season. And hopefully, we can get you some students your way.
Sounds good. Thank you, Andrew. And thank
Awesome.
you for everyone tuning in, and go
Yeah.
Vols.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great day. Take care.
All right.
Bye
See you
bye.
later. Bye-bye.